Hand tracking. How can we get so immersive that I'm the one shooting an arrow with my own hand? Not just tracking the motion, but curving my fingers as if I am stretching out the bow. Move the sun to your preferred time of day. Launch whatever you like to whoever you like. Or for VTubers, another way of communicating to your audience. How can you get gloves that do all this with an easy setup? These are the UDCAP gloves, provided by UDX Real. The company values making the lightest VR gloves that are nice and comfortable and you can wear for a long time. Instead of having bending sensors that can be bulky and provide finger fatigue, elastic sensors are light, soft, and flexible. Flex every single one of your fingers in-game and not feel like a puppet on wires. They offer 5 sizes, so I actually had to measure my hand to get it right. So now that they're here, let's test them and see if they're worth it. When I opened the box, I was actually surprised. There was a ton of tiny other little boxes that came with it. I got worried that I had to build a robot, but these are just adapters. There's basic adapters that supports Vive trackers or Tundra, and UTK specific adapters that minimize wobbling in VR games, and the controller adapter, which is what I'll be using. It only supports controllers for Quest. They provide you with this beautiful case. I cannot love it more, where the gloves sit inside. I got a pair of gloves to go underneath that I'm guessing is for sweat, so that the actual glove doesn't get all dirty. I've been watching a couple of reviews, and one review when this was just on Kickstarter talked about cleaning the gloves and their concerns about it. So I believe that this was a response to that concern. I feel like the company is very good at listening to feedback. It comes with 3 different cables, one for charging, one to connect the gloves to the joystick, and one to connect your dongle to the computer. Oh my gosh, oh no. I'm getting stuck. I'm getting myself stuck. Anyway. Putting the gloves on, they feel so nice. My fingers can curve around just fine. I will say the one thing that I do have a problem with is my pointer finger does tend to get a little tired. My right hand feels great, but my left hand, for some reason, I feel like there's some resistance. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm right-handed, and maybe I just need to get used to the joystick on that hand. But the joysticks are really non-negotiable to me. They provide your AB buttons and a joystick to move around and look around. There is a haptic motor inside it. The placement is great, and because of the haptic feedback, you get these vibrations when you are pointing and shooting, responding to your environment. This is especially helpful to those that don't have a VR treadmill or full body tracking, so you can still experience hand tracking without that whole setup. They claim that their gloves are the lightest in the world. These are 0.32 pounds or 45 grams. Putting it on, I can confirm, they feel so nice. But this is before putting on your joystick. So keep in mind the gloves are light, but add in the weight of your joystick. Still, I can easily type on a keyboard, drink my water. It also has a long battery life, up to 15 hours, which I can confirm it outlasted my Meta Quest 3. Calibration is super easy. Make a fist, keep your fingers close together, spread them out. From there, you can connect it to SteamVR, and if you ever need to calibrate it again, it is just like 5 seconds. Your trigger button will always be your pointer finger just curling in, and then the grab is the rest of your hands curling in. The software also supports VMC and OMC, which is great for VTubing. But now, what games does it work? I'm using this in SteamVR, which has a load of games that you can use. VRChat, Blade and Sorcery, Half-Life Alyx, Rage Room, so you can come in and whack things. Jumping into VRChat, one of my absolute favorite things was grabbing the camera and then moving around like I was a streamer. Hello! Yeah, if I want to grab the camera, I just... That is super nice. Hello. I feel like a vlogger. That is insane. Hello, YouTube. Today we're gonna go to this haunted mansion. Today we're gonna get run over by a truck. Yay. That's pretty awesome. I like it because, like, it gives you some control. Like, look, let's see if I can, like, move around. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Cool. So this is me holding the dang camera in VRChat. Use full range for your arms or curl them up inside like you're scared. Punch people or jump and change your perspective with the buttons. You want to tell someone to shut up? You can. You want to tell yourself to shut up? You can. You want to give yourself a heart? That's a kind of mangled heart. Before I had the gloves, I was trying to position the camera with just my controllers, and it was quite difficult. I found it so much more fun to just be able to simulate me grabbing the camera and holding it while I was moving around the room. I then set it down and take a couple steps back to show more of my character. I can swing my arms all around, showing off the fingers again. So if you add this with full body tracking, you'll be able to do really fun dances, especially because so many dances are very specific with your hand movement. As you can see, I was able to do some really fun transitions easily with just a Quest 3 and hand track. So if you're not ready to have that full setup, I still think that VTubers can still get a lot from just hand tracking. After all, and I mentioned this in my design video, a lot of people will just be watching you waist up. Even in this video, you don't see my legs, but look how easy it is to see my hands. You can also go around the room and grab things, which just made it feel like you were really in the space. Going into Blade and Sorcery was really cool. I could actually stab someone, which is just insane. Though unfortunately for me, I did not have the stomach to be able to jump, and I had to quit and instead went into Rage Room to take out the rage for me having motion sickness. Just to clarify, that's a symptom of the VR headset, not at all of the hand tracking. So what are some pros and cons? You have 2 USB ports, 2 dongles to connect to each of the hand sensors. Now the good thing about this is that it gives you a lot of precision. It makes your hands very lifelike because there's a dedicated connection for each one. However, 2 spaces is a lot, especially if you have a lot of things that are wireless. If you're someone who's into VR, or you're someone like me who has a lot of USB ports being used, I'd invest in a USB hub. This will allow you to connect more things if you run out of it on your PC. There is a learning curve with the gestures. You have to get used to it, and you will need something to track it with, but you can use Quest controllers. I know before they didn't have the attachment for the Quest controllers. That is solved now. So if you just have a Quest, you don't have to worry about getting another set of trackers. Now, one of the biggest pros for me is that it can work in Warudo. I haven't tried it yet, but that is a platform made for 3D VTubers. This can be really great if you're someone that wants to create a concert and you want very precise hand movements. After testing out dancing, I do think that you need to figure out how to move with it. There's one dance move that required me clanking my hands together, which clanked the Quest controllers on top. But as you keep watching, you see I got the hang of it. Through this experience, I learned people with 3D models dance just a little different because the model's arms sometimes go through the body when held too closely. So just as you would learn to adjust moving your arms, you also learn best practices to really accentuate your hand movements. For dancers, the hands are the details. Making sure they're pointed, stretched, closed in can add some extra flair to your dance, which these gloves do a great job of capturing. Because these are so easy to calibrate, I honestly see myself using these even on days where I don't want to set up everything. When I was checking the company's recent YouTube videos, they showed how it can work with robots, teaching it how to move. These gloves are so innovative and are already being used in other ways to advance us forward. And though I love that all my fingers are being tracked, I understand that the VR world and tracking is a big investment. When I'm wearing VR, I really don't want to feel that I'm wearing too much, so having my hands be hand-free is something I really love. Let's summarize. The cost. It is around $600-700 right now. The only haptic feedback is on your index finger where the joystick is located. The trigger can be awkward in some other games. In VRChat, I found it fine, but in other ones, sometimes I'd have to align it just right for me to get the trigger button to work. And as I'm curling my fingers, it'll move a little bit. So sometimes I'm trying to trigger it a couple times. And you can feel the occasional wobble with your trackers. As for the pros, I really love that I only need my Quest 3 controllers to get this working because I don't have Tundra or Vive trackers. And someone who's more of a beginner in this world, it really did feel beginner friendly. The gloves are very comfortable for me, miles more comfortable than the Quest headset. They deliver exactly what they say they will, very precise hand tracking that is so fun to use, especially for VR chatters and VTubers. And having the ability to use them in this world makes the whole experience more immersive. The battery life is very long, but you may need to recalibrate during gameplay. And though it takes a couple seconds and I don't mind, I do think some people might. And in my personal experience, it has gotten better over time. I was always quite intimidated by the world of VR, so I was very happy that UDX Real really made it so easy. From calibrating it to connecting it to SteamVR, the process is seamless, and the tool that they have so I can see my hands moving in real time before I even get to the game really helped me have confidence that it is calibrated correctly. If you are interested in this glove, I will leave a link down below and you can get 10% off using Vela at checkout. And if you do, let me know what you think of it. What kind of VR setup would you like? And for the last couple seconds, I will leave you with me trying out full body tracking and really thinking that I discovered the best camera, the mirror, and my POV. Yeah, everyone, keep using the VRChat stream.